Meeting to order at this late hour of the day. But we need an approval of today's agenda.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Approval of minutes from last meeting.
I make the motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, minutes are approved. New business.
Is that me? Okay. So
Sorry to interrupt your nap.
that's right. Actually, it's my lunchtime. I usually head for lunch at this time, but I'm happy to be in front of you, fine gentlemen. So we're going to be establishing minimum qualifications for the civilian gun crime data analyst. And prior to doing that, I thought it would be very helpful to have Lieutenant Jason Smith come up, and he oversees the crime analytics unit at the PD, to kind of describe what that unit does and how this position is a key component of that. So Lieutenant Smith.
Good morning. I'm Lieutenant Smith. I'm the commander of the Crime Analytics Unit, and we currently have two civilians. One of these positions we're trying to obviously refill. But both of our Crime Analysis Unit came about from our public safety partnership when we were granted the program with the DOJ to combat our violent crime and all the gun crime that we were having in the city. So as part of those assessments, it was determined that we needed a crime analysis unit and we needed to build our analytical capacity. So this position was really part of that. Our civilian gun crime analyst has really become critical in supporting our strategies, our violent crime strategies, including the NIBIN process, GVI, and just any police-based strategy that we're currently deploying, such as hotspot policing, place network strategies. So this is a critical role that's the future of policing, especially with limited resources. They pull a lot of data and synthesize that data for us and help us utilize our resources, our limited resources, in a much more effective way. So I truly believe that crime analysis is the future of policing, and it's a critical role that we need to fill.
I have a question. Now, with you hotspot determination or whatever, so you put your resources in certain areas more than others, is that right?
Yes.
Now, isn't there been a problem in the past with going to certain targeted areas? It's like discriminatory or something?
Yeah, I think it's definitely, there's been communities that have seen some discriminatory practices with hotspot policing. And I think the difference is in how it's deployed. I think if you think back into the 90s when I got on the job and we did hotspot policing, we identified problems within the city, right, geographically, but the strategies that we deployed within those were kind of a catch-all, zero tolerance, right? Like we would go into these spots and we would, kind of bomb the whole area. We would arrest everybody for everything, and a lot of people got caught into those nets. So when we talk about hotspot policing in today's world, in the modern world, we talk about the strategies that we deploy are much more targeted. We use analysis to figure out exactly what's going on in those areas and the people that are causing the problems there, or the problem nuisance addresses that may be pulling the problems there. So we go after the problems within those areas to fix the areas, as opposed to kind of carte blanche, tackling everything in those areas. So yeah, it's a concern, and I certainly think that it's something that we need to talk about, and that we always need to make sure that we're not deploying those old strategies. But crime analysis helps us in that way. It helps us fine tune what we're doing in those specific areas.
Okay.
Okay. No questions from me.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Appreciate that. So the minimum qualifications for this particular position, the civilian gun crime data analyst, a bachelor's degree from an accredited college or university in criminal justice, computer science, statistics, research, analysis, or a closely related field, or an equivalent combination of training and experience, which provides the knowledge, skills, and abilities necessary to perform the required work in this position. They must also be able to attain professional certification in a crime analysis program, such as the Certified Law Enforcement Analyst, the CLIA, or other certification approved by the Chief of Police within 3 years of hire. Must, of course, pass a thorough background investigation, including a polygraph. Must possess a valid driver's license and maintain that valid driver's license throughout the duration of employment. And they must also reside in Iowa or Illinois within 2 years of hire and maintain residency throughout the duration of employment. So for your consideration, those are the minimum qualifications for this particular position. I appreciate your consideration.
Just someone, now this is a second, and now there's 2 data analysts.
So I can take that one too. Previously, this was a temporary position, but now we are bringing it to, and funded by temporary funding. Now we are looking to not make it temporary, which is why we're before you today.
So there's just one person or 2 people in analysis.
We have 2 analysts,
it really
correct.
that much?
We're filling the vacancy of one of them.
Is there really that much?
Yeah, well, someday, my dream is to have 3. To have a civilian that just does gun crime, one that just does narcotics and supports the detective bureau, and one that does general crime for the patrol division. So, yes, unfortunately, there's plenty of work for the analyst.
Okay.
So next on your list is firefighter engineer. You may remember this from last month when we brought minimum qualifications for promotional opportunities within our fire department. After the minimum qualifications were brought to you for approval, we did notice a Scrivener's error in this position. And we had asked for your approval that applicants have a Fire Officer 1 certification upon application. However, we would like to remove that. That should not have been there. Okay? Okay.
So you can apply for this just with any firefighter? Or what are you want to take out the firefighter 1?
No, the certification, the Fire Officer 1 certification.
Okay.
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 Okay. Next, we're going to move on to our financial specialist, which is an entry-level position in our Community Economic and Development Department. So if you turn to page 2, we're actually would like to open up the candidate pool. So right now, candidates do need to have a bachelor's degree in business administration, urban planning. We would extend that to finance, accounting, or again, a closely related field. Right now, it does require 2 years of experience. We would remove that experience, but we would take an equivalent combination of training and experience along with the actual degree or education. So now we're actually only requiring somebody to have 4 years of experience in this position. The other thing we would remove is experience with CDM or other loan servicing software desired. It wouldn't be a requirement. And then grants management experience preferred, we'd remove that as well. Currently, applicants would need to have a National Development Council certification as a housing development finance professional or similar certification. This is a certification that would not be required for this position to perform the duties in their position currently. We would add on that they do have a valid driver's license and maintain that throughout duration of employment because they would be driving as a requirement for their position, whether it be to buildings, it could be for loan processing and to file the paperwork for that position. Okay.
So if you lost your driver's license, you're out of work.
We would have to take that into consideration. Yep.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Moving on, we have our senior clerk position. This is a position that would be entry level that could be at Public Works or Parks right now is where we have these positions. If you flip it over to page 2, we're going to do some language cleanup. So applicants need a high school diploma. We're adding the GED equivalents already in there. And then language cleanup to have 2 years of diversified office clerical work. It currently says or equivalent, combination of business, office training, and experience, we would remove that portion and just say an equivalent combination of training and experience, which provides the knowledge, skills, and abilities necessary to perform the required work in this position. We would also remove requires considerable typing and computer skills. And then adding that they do need to have a valid driver's license and maintain that throughout duration of employment. This is a position where they're going to be driving inter-office mail or coming to pick up paychecks, so they would be required to have a driver's license.
So the typing skills aren't required.
So it is a requirement. It's very hard to actually take a look at minimum qualifications and either move somebody through or actually decline that or tell them that they're not qualified due to that. It is in the skills in the job description. So one way we can monitor that is when we create the exam, create questions or be able to ask them questions about Microsoft Office products or typing. So we would test on that ability. However, it's very hard to screen applicants based upon.
So you don't have to take a typing test.
At this time, no typing test. It would be questions regarding Microsoft Office products more than likely.
So then once they started, if they couldn't type, it would become
I would
clear.
With today's technology, even with cell phone usage, Chromebooks, computers, a lot of applicants are already going to possess the typing skills that we're looking
Being
for.
good with thumbs is good enough.
You know, I've seen employees or even other people will actually use, I'm surprised at how quickly somebody can type with just using 2 fingers. It surprises me.
Well, I use 2 fingers, but I don't use 2 thumbs, even on my phone.
It does surprise me.
I use fingers. That's what fingers are for.
Or talk to text.
Yeah,
Or, you know, the little tap thing.
Yeah.
Whatever.
yeah, the point is,
Huh? I got the can here with the string.
yes.
Then the last position that we're asking for qualifications on is actually a new position. This is our Transit Safety and Training Coordinator position in our Transit Division of Public Works. So if you turn to page 2, towards the bottom, we have our minimum qualifications. Applicants would need to have a high school diploma or GED equivalent, plus 2 years of experience in passenger vehicle training or safety, or we would take the equivalent. The next, they would need to have a valid Class B CDL with air brake and tanker endorsements, and have 2 years of, at the time of application, they'd have to actually hold that Class B CDL with passenger endorsement for at least 2 years at the time of application. The reason for that is with the Federal Motor Carrier Safety and Administration, for those that are actually training or employees that don't have a CDL to obtain their CDL, they actually have to have that CDL requirement for 2 years in order to be a certified trainer. Then, of course, we do have our physical examination, background check, and our residency requirements for this position.
Quick question. Is
Sure.
is this a management position? Or like quasi-management? Like,
Sure, I'm gonna bring Nicole Gleason up.
oh, sorry.
You're good.
Hi, Nicole Gleason, Public Works. We're actually really excited about this. I would say quasi-management is a good word because what we're hoping this person can do, we've traditionally used a third party to do some of our road supervision, and we want to try to have more people capable of doing that. So like when drivers are in the field, being able to kind of see, like monitor how they're driving and give them tips and tricks to be able to be more efficient and effective and safer at their jobs. So while it's not technically managing the people, it will be like helping oversee some of the safety and training aspects of their work.
And do you see a current bus driver being able to be maybe promoted into
I
this
do hope
position?
so. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it would be really great, because they, you know, they have the skills already. Many of them already have that CDL, and some people that maybe are looking for a job change, we would welcome that certainly.
Okay.
And even honestly, not just necessarily a bus driver, but even one of our Teamsters that has a CDL, could potentially do this as well.
Okay, great, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, that is it for qualifications.
And before you, assuming you're going to make a motion, I would just clarify that this, the agenda is slightly different than what Gina just presented. It's the Transit Safety and Training Coordinator for establishing minimum qualifications. So if you wouldn't mind just, if that's the motion to approve all of those A through E, that includes that specification for the job title.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
I move to accept all 5
I've got a
positions.
question. I'm not completely sold on the gun crime analyst. You've got a department that needs people on the street. Surely there's enough bureaucracy. They know who's got the guns, they know who's using them and all that. I don't see the purpose of it.
It's modern policing. That's the trend that is happening across the United States. Allows us to bring in some civilian professionals to work alongside our police officers in a better holistic way of combating crime. And we're already seeing a reduction in that. So it is a critical position. So we do appreciate your consideration of that.
So what will you said bring in somebody to go with a police officer out on the street?
They could work alongside our police officers, but they're mostly analyzing the data, the crime data that is occurring right now. Yep.
Because I know the policemen, they know who's doing what. There's no secret.
Sure.
So it just seems odd now to spend money analyzing it. Then what will they do with it?
We're building a much more professional, a better team to
So we'll see crime
ensure
go
the
down in
safety, of our citizens. Yeah.
All right.
So it's a good thing. Thank you.
I move to accept all 5 positions as listed.
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
It's carried. My voted too. I didn't say aye. Okay, old business. Nope. All right, certification lists.
Okay. First up, we have our lead maintenance specialist. This is a promotional position in our facilities maintenance division of Public Works. And we had a 30-70 split. It is part of the Teamsters Union. You may also remember from last month, you approved the updates to the minimum qualifications. So candidates need to have 5 years of experience and a skilled full performance level in varied trades, such as electricity, carpentry, plumbing, or painting. We'd also accept the equivalent. They also need to have experience in the principles and practices of supervision, and then have a valid driver's license. So we had one applicant. That applicant was qualified, passed the written exam, passed the interview, and is on the list to be certified. And then we have our stats. Questions? Okay. Next, we have our sewer equipment operator. This is a promotional position in the sewer division of Public Works, and our written exam was weighted at 100%, part of the Teamsters Union. Applicants need a high school diploma or GED equivalent, have 1 year of experience driving trucks, tractors, or other service vehicles, and 1 year of experience in sewer construction and repair, including heavy underground construction work. They must have a Class B CDL with air brake endorsement and obtain a tanker endorsement within 90 days of hire. We had 6 applicants. 4 of those were qualified and invited to the written exam. 1 withdrew and 1 scored below 70%, leaving us with 2 candidates that passed the written exam and are on the list to be certified. And we have our stats. Next up is our street equipment operator. Again, another promotional position in the street division of Public Works. We had a practical that was weighted at 100% and is part of the Teamster Union. Here.
There you go.
Where we go? There we go. Okay, so we had 8 applicants, 6 were qualified and invited to the practical. 6 candidates passed the practical, and they're all on the list to be certified. And then our stats.
Quite a range of age there
I was noticing that.
on both of them, actually.
Yes. There we go. Our street heavy equipment operator is next, which is a promotional position in the street division of Public Works. We had a practical weighted at 30% and an interview weighted at 70%. It is part of the Teamsters Union. So applicants need to have 3 years of experience in operating specialized construction equipment or 2 years of experience and specialized training in the operation of similar equipment, possess their Class B CDL with air brake endorsement, and obtain a Class A with air brake and tanker endorsements within 6 months of hire. We had 10 applicants. 7 of those were qualified and invited to the practical exam. All 7 passed the practical, they passed the interview, and are on the list to be certified. And our stats.
For ethnicity, what is AM?
I apologize, I will have to get back to you. I can't,
I believe it's American Indian.
I believe so too, yes.
Where'd you see that?
On there.
Oh,
I wouldn't have got that from those initials. Okay.
Okay, and that is it for our list.
any other questions? Entertain a motion to approve the certification list.
I make the motion to approve the certification list.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, carried. Anything else anybody has?
I just want to thank you again for being able to reschedule this meeting. We have a lot of things on this list, and I know our departments appreciate your time today so they can move forward with their recruitments.
I move to adjourn.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
November 8th, hopefully.